Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. I want to just go through a really simple recipe today and tell you how you can take a nice cheap cut of steak and turn it into a really delicious tasting cut of steak. So obviously if you buy a steak and it's like $40 a pound prime from like a nice fancy butcher shop, that's going to taste delicious. You just put some salt, some pepper on it, throw it in a pan. In fact, if you put anything on that steak but salt and pepper, I would be furious with you. But if you're a public school teacher in the United States of America, you definitely don't make enough money to do that, and you have to buy these $10 steaks at Trader Joe's. You can see that price tag right there, $8.99, great deal. But these $9 steaks don't quite have the delicious flavor that a really expensive steak would. So I just want to show you a really quick way to add a little bit of extra oomph to your meat. So you take a piece of plastic wrap, stretch it out nice and thin, and I'm just going to cut this bad boy straight out of here. Now, flailing around wildly with a knife, probably a pair of scissors would be the smart, responsible, respectable way to do this. But we'll just get our knife in there and kind of slice it open. Yep, that was wildly irresponsible. Maybe you can hear my girlfriend in the background fearing for my life, but don't worry, I'm a professional.
A professional teacher.
Okay, whatever. Professional something or other. And you might get some steak juice on your counter, but that's what Clorox wipes are for. So we're just gonna put that right in the middle. And now since we touched some red meat, we're gonna go over to the sink and wash our hands. Always wash your hands after touching red meat because it's full of E. coli, probably. Especially these cheap steaks. Lord knows where they come from. And the first thing we're going to do is season it up. So I have some sea salt right here. And I'm just going to put a nice gentle coating. Now, if you've seen other people cook steak, you're going to be like, hey, Bort, you're putting way less salt on this than I normally see people put on steak. And that's absolutely true. Okay? And I'll tell you why in a second. So we're going to put some salt. And the peppercorns that the lid was not screwed onto will dump all over your counter. So we'll fix that later. We'll come back and fix that later. For now, we'll screw this top back on the pepper mill. And we'll just...
You didn't finish the old pepper.
Grind some... Yeah, but this pepper is like way higher quality. We're just going to grind it on there. And all these other peppercorns we'll just... I don't know, do something else with at some point. Good, they're all stuck to my steak. That's what we like to see. So when you make this recipe, it's really important that you check to make sure the top is actually screwed onto your pepper mill. Apparently that's a thing you should check for. So we'll just put some pepper here. Remember to turn it onto the side, get some pepper on both sides. It's also important to remember when you're cooking, accidents happen. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Have fun. It's all good. And so we'll now salt these other sides. Now these are going to be some peppery steaks. Get it nice and salted all over. I put a little Ancho chili powder on here. Be careful. I would advise against putting any kind of pre-packaged chili powder on your steaks. Those pre-packaged generic chili powders usually just taste like dirt to me. I like to get a single chili, right? Whether it be Ancho, Chipotle, whatever it be, as long as you actually know what the pepper is going into that. A little bit of garlic. And then you'll notice, I'll try to hold this a little bit closer to the camera, when you look at this steak is very well coated in seasonings, okay? These cheaper cuts of steak, I'm just going to brush all these little peppercorns off to the side. These cheaper cuts of steak oftentimes don't have the flavor that a really nice cut of steak would. So you need to kind of add the flavor yourself. Now the last step to this, if you guys Once again, we're going to wash our hands since we just touched a bunch of raw meat. Okay, now the secret to this recipe is our friend soy sauce here. Okay, the reason we didn't put too much salt on is because soy sauce is basically liquid salt. And what we're going to do in a second, we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of soy sauce on here, just enough to coat it. And for those of you who know about diffusion, what's going to happen is the liquid in the soy sauce, since the steak is nice and dry, the liquid in the soy sauce is going to diffuse into the steak, and as it does, it's going to pull all of those salt molecules into the steak. So we're going to have salt not just on top of the steak, but also in the meat. So we just want to put a little bit of soy sauce on and kind of just tap it in with your fingers. It's okay to touch the meat. We can wash our hands afterwards. And you want just enough soy sauce to get a little even coating. Okay, we don't want big pools of soy sauce, just barely enough. Barely enough to cover the meat. And we'll just get a nice coating on both sides. Tap it over, get some soy in that fat cap. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to take this, and this is the reason we put it on the saran wrap. We're going to wrap it up super duper tight. Okay? Super tight. So no moisture can get out. Alright, so we have this nice little steak bundle now. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for 6 to 8 hours. We're going to take it out of the fridge and let it sit at room temperature for an hour. Then put it in a pan, cook it for 3.5 minutes on both sides, and it'll be good to go. Make sure you let your meat rest before you eat it, and enjoy. Thanks. I'll see you next time.